Of course, you know we have been following this case of Natasha and Senator Godswill AKPABIO. We have been following this case closely and bringing to you all the updates, everything happening around this very case. Every damn thing happening around this case, we are bringing it to you so that you follow and know where this country is heading. Know the type of Senate we operate in Nigeria. If it is the same Senate other developed countries or first world countries are operating. Because many people are questioning, raising dust all over if this Senate house is really for the interest of the masses or really for the interest of the what? Elites and bourgeoisie. That is what is happening, because the suspension of Senator Natasha AKPABIO has sparked a growing crisis now in Senate, because they have refused her to start her legislative duties. They want to suspend her again, which is raising a lot of dust. And all well-meaning Nigerians are criticizing that very move, criticizing that very motive, that it is not for the interest of the masses. How can you suspend a senator who is representing her people, and their people will remain unrepresented over 6 months, and they want to resuspend her again? That it is not done. That is growing crisis right now in Nigeria Senate. It is even exposing deep cracks along party, tribal and institutional lines. This is creating dust now, developing tribal crisis, and all institutions which initially appeared to be what disciplinary action is now spiraling into a national controversy. It is now a case of national controversy. The case is now heading towards a national controversy, and people are what asking the presidency to intervene and know what is right to be done in this very case. It's no longer what people expected that is happening. So Natasha's suspension allegedly over misconduct is widely seen as a political motivated, especially given her past confrontation with Senate President Godswill AKPABIO over alleged sexual harassment, and they have refused to treat that very sexual harassment. So opposition parties are growing strongly condemning the move, calling it a calculated attempt to silence a courageous voice, exposing the rot within the Senate. That this very case of Natasha AKPABIO is exposing the rot in the Senate. Seriously, it is exposing that, yes. So ethnic sentiments have also been ignited, with many arguing that the action reflects tribal bias, as Natasha AKPABIO, representing Central Kogi, belongs to a minority group. That is what they are saying now. That Natasha AKPABIO belongs to a minority group. That's why the sentiment is raising, is growing. So civil society group, youth organization, and human rights advocates are now turning and warning that this issue could set a dangerous precedent if left unchecked, that this could cut and escalate to something that they may not control tomorrow as 2027 general election approach. Yes, so within the Senate itself, divisions are becoming clearer, that there are a lot of division in our national Senate. And it is becoming clearer that people are beginning to notice that. So even former Senate President Bukola Saraki said that this division is becoming apparent, that it is becoming clearer, that people are beginning to notice that they should do something as a matter of urgency now to check this very menace, what is actually happening in the Senate, that they should not allow Godswill AKPABIO to use the Senate as his private enterprise, that as his private business, that Senate house belongs to Nigerians, that Nigerians duly elected every of their constituents to represent them at that very Senate, that they should not handle things there carelessly. So, and he argues that legal experts also argue that the Senate's action disrespects a valid court order, potentially inviting further judicial confrontation. Okay, do you understand? So they should be serious with what they are doing and how to handle this very case, that they should reinstate Natasha with immediate have effect, they should immediately reinstate her, immediately insisting that her suspension violates due process and defies the rule of law. That is what the former Senate president is saying, Bukola Saraki. So this tension, as this tension is growing higher, it is not just political, it is emotional and symbolic. Yes, Nigeria, many Nigerians, especially women and youth, view Natasha as a symbol of courage and transparency. Her continued suspension could lead to nationwide protests and civil unrest. And when it starts now, tomorrow they may not be able to cope it, like what is happening in southeastern region about the long incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When it starts raging now, they won't say that this is the actual cause of this very event. So her continuous suspension could lead to nationwide protests and civil unrest. So they are calling on Godswill Akpabio to step aside or be investigated. Yes, he can be investigated because this case has been going. They have never called Senator Godswill Akpabio to order or even investigate his own part. It is only on Natasha that it is very, very wrong. So they are calling for Akpabio to step aside or be investigated. So, and it is gaining ground. It is getting ground that he should be investigated. So this case has morphed to a test of Nigeria's democratic integrity. The presidency can no longer stay silent. Tinubu should wake up now as a matter of what urgency to intervene before this crisis erupts into a full-blown national conflict. So if this situation remains unaddressed, it could erode public confidence in the Senate and embolden further executive outreach. It is a crisis if they don't check it. So many people are asking, why is the presidency silent about this very case? Why is he silent? Why are they not saying anything? Why are they keeping silence over this very case? He just travels, does everything he wants to do without thinking about what is happening in the Senate. People are saying that they just use it as a do for me and I do for you. So anything happening there doesn't concern them. In a democracy, the legislature must lead by example. Yes, they must lead by example. If one of its own can be silenced unlawfully, then ordinary citizens have little hope of justice. That is the truth. Ordinary Nigerians have little or no hope for justice. That is the truth. So the suspension of Natasha Akpoti is no longer just about one woman. It is about the soul of the Nigerian Senate. The time to act is now before institutional damage becomes irreversible. That is what everyone is saying. They should do the needful now before it becomes a problem. So if you have never subscribed to this very channel, please kindly subscribe for more updates on this and more, because we have a lot of things to show Nigerians on what is actually happening in this very country. Every news that drops, every development, this is where you get all the updates verified in this success media. So kindly subscribe if you have never subscribed for more updates on this and many more. So look at what they just showed. Even Afenifere are raising serious dust about this very case. They are not relenting. They are not happy about this. Political parties, civil society organizations are raising dust that the Senate belong to few individuals in Nigeria. So the controversy surrounding Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's suspension took a fresh twist on Tuesday as the People's Democratic Party and several senior advocates of Nigeria condemned the Senate's decision to bar Akpoti-Uduaghan from resuming when the upper chamber reconvenes on 23rd September. In a letter dated September 4th, the acting clerk to the National Assembly, Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, formally notified Akpoti-Uduaghan that her 6-month suspension imposed on March 6th remained in force and until the Court of Appeal delivers judgment in her in suit against her. The suspension of the Kogi Central Senator and the sledgehammer sanction left much to be desired. Ebiesin, a lawyer who warned that the action could be exploited at other level, of government expressed concern that the same situation could be inflicted on the suspension governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, after serving out his suspension. He said at the end of the 6 months suspension term on the 6th of September, the cause of the action in court has become otious, and the trial of which has become at best a mere academic exercise which the court does not waste its precious time on. So the action continued to raise much dust as Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere on Thursday berated the Nigerian Senate's decision to prevent Senator Natasha and AKPABIO from resuming her legislative duties after fulfilling the term of her 6-month suspension. Afenifere, which fumed at the Senate's handling of the situation, described the action as deeply flawed, warning that the decision tends to portray a dangerous political precedent in the Nigerian history, that is in the country. According to the Secretary General of the organization, Salah Abiosina, who spoke with journalists in Akure, the Ondo State capital, the circumstances surrounding the suspension of the Kogi Central Senator and sledgehammer sanction left much to be desired, they said. So this is a very serious case that requires technical solution. If not, it could lead to another problem in Nigeria, because it is now a case that to be studied. The presidency have actually left Senate President AKPABIO to be tarnishing the image of this very country by mishandling the affairs of the Senate the way he wants, which is very, very unjust. It is setting Nigeria back before international community and the other world watching us, how we are handling this very case. They are trying to silence voices. If they could silence voice of the senator representing her people, how much more about that people she is representing? That is a question that remained unanswered. It's a very big problem. So this case is really heading to somewhere that may expose the ills in the handling of our Senate House, Senate Chamber. But we are still following it up. Everything happening about this case, we are following it up closely and knowing what actually happened. How they are going to resolve this case of Natasha and AKPABIO. The case continues. So kindly subscribe to this very channel for more updates and many other things. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely day ahead.